In this video, I will show you how to use tangent, sine, and cosine to solve for missing sides and angles in a right triangle. But first, you need to memorize these three trig functions. Sine of an angle is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine of an angle is the adjacent leg over the hypotenuse. And the tangent of an angle is the opposite leg over the adjacent leg. Looking at this diagram, the hypotenuse is the hypotenuse no matter what. However, which leg is opposite and which leg is adjacent depends on the angle that you are looking at. So from the perspective of this angle theta, this leg is adjacent because it's right next to it. Adjacent means right next to. This leg is opposite because it's across from the angle. Opposite means across from. So we need to find the length of side DF. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and put a variable on DF to remind me that I'm looking for that guy. All right, now, next I'm going to label all the sides of the triangle, starting with the hypotenuse. So this is the hypotenuse because it is across from the 90-degree angle. Now, to decide which is opposite and which is adjacent, it's important that I know which angle I'm looking at. Of course, I'm going to look at the 27. That's the only angle that's labeled. So from the perspective of the 27, that makes the 13 the opposite leg because it's across from. And side DE here is the adjacent leg because it's right next to the angle. Next, I need to decide which two sides I'm going to use to build my trig function. I definitely am going to use the 13 because that's the only side that I'm given. And I also have to use the x because that's what I'm looking for. So whatever I'm given and whatever I'm looking for, that has to be involved in the equation. So this is opposite and hypotenuse. What trig function is that? That's the sine function, opposite over hypotenuse. So I will set up the sine function. So I will go sine of 27 is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So when you have the variable in the denominator, that's when you want to swap these. So this is going to give you x is equal to 13 over sine 27. And you can just put that in your calculator. But as I get my final answer, I'm going to go ahead and call this df instead of x because they asked us to find df. Okay, so I'm going to put this in my calculator. 13 over sine 27. That's 28.635. Got to round up. So we found DF. Now it's time to find the length of side DE. All right, just so I don't get distracted, I'm going to erase what I've put before. So now I'm going to find side DE. I am going to use a different variable this time. I'll call this one y. All right, just so I don't get confused with what I did before. So DE is what I'm looking for. So I'm definitely going to use that side. And I'm still going to use the 13 because that's the side I'm given. So now that means I'm using opposite and adjacent. Which trig function is that? That's the tangent function, opposite over adjacent. So I will set up my tangent function. I will say tangent of 27 is equal to opposite over adjacent. Again, when you have the variable in the denominator, that's when you want to swap these. So this will become y equals 13 over tangent 27. Okay, so we want to find DE. So, put this in your calculator. $25.514, got to round up. Okay, finally, we need to find the measure of angle F. Since they gave us the other acute angle, all right, they gave us a 27. If I want to find the measure of angle F, all I need to do is subtract 27 from 90, and that's going to give me the other angle. Okay, so I'm just going to simply do 90 minus 27. So the measure of angle F is 63 degrees. All right, the last problem is a real world problem, a word problem. But we were kind enough to give you the diagram, so there's nothing to fear. A cell tower that is 140 feet tall, C, is tethered to the ground by a wire that is 175 feet long. This is the wire. What angle is formed by the wire and the ground? That's x. So we're just trying to find x. So we really could solve this without even using the words, but it's good to understand. So we're just going to do what we always do. Let's label all the sides. So for starters, the hypotenuse is here. Always begin with the hypotenuse, which is across from the 90-degree angle. So that makes... Oh, next we have to decide which angle we're looking at, because that will determine which side is opposite and which side is adjacent. So clearly we're going to look at this angle right here, because that's the angle we're supposed to find. All right, the other angle is empty, completely blank. So we're finding this angle. So from the perspective of this angle, then this leg is adjacent, and this leg is opposite. All right, so which two sides are we going to actually use to build our function? Well, this side has a number on it, so I'm definitely going to use that. This side also has a number on it, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to use both of these. So it seems to me that I have opposite and hypotenuse. All right, those are the sides I've chosen. What trig function is that? Well, that is your sine function, opposite over hypotenuse. So let's set up the sine function. So sine of the unknown angle x is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. When the variable is inside the trig function, that's when you do the inverse trig function. So I'm going to do inverse sine of 140 over 175. And you can simply put that in your calculator. So we'll do second sine to get inverse sine, 140 over 175. Boom! 53.130 degrees. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. Go ahead and click here in the red apple to watch the next video. Click in the green apple to subscribe, or click the yellow apple for the full playlist.